Apologies for the extended delay, ladies and gentlemen, but welcome back and welcome into the EGFH Season 12. Rocket League is back and better than ever with our technically third, but still really first game of the day. It's the Silas High School Gold taking on the Smith County High School Cyber Owls. I'm Time Late. Joined alongside me is Soy. And Soy, into our first third game of the day, what are your expectations before us?
Well, it should be an interesting one. I got to see the Cyber Owls in their opener for EGFH. This is their first real split in the EGFH scene, so they had a little bit of a. It was a tough opening draw for them. I believe they got 3-0'd in their opening series, but you saw a lot of good glimpses of what they were able to do, especially in terms of getting good counterattacks. If they're able to get this ball up the field, their offense can really put on some pressure here. So that's going to be the key for them headed into this match against Silas High School Gold, because Silas High School, they're no slouches. I believe they're sitting around middle of the pack in the standings in this pool. So very important game for these two schools as we're about halfway through the pool play.
Yeah, and some apologies for some technical issues earlier on. Our first game, of course, was canceled because of a James J. Ferris High School forfeit. Our second game was originally delayed a little bit and then ended up having to be canceled due to scheduling issues. Secaucus ended up having a Nintendo Switch not correctly install the game on time because Nintendo Switch diff. Not much you can do there. Technical issues combined with Wi-Fi going out at some point, a whole host of problems, so we unfortunately had to move on, but that does mean that we start on time here with Silas and Smith County. Do you have any expectations for this one, Soy, before we get into game number one?
Well, I feel like you got to give the edge to Silas High School Gold just because of the record that they've had so far. They've had a tough stretch of games, but they are around 1-2 or 1-3, I believe, on that schedule. Whereas the Cyber Owls still searching for that first win. But the Cyber Owls, like we mentioned, a newer school here, first time program entering this scene. So we'll see if they've kind of ironed out the kinks here as we're already halfway through the season. But Silas Gold, this will be my first time seeing them. I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table.
My first time as well for actually both of these teams. I don't know who to root for or who to really expect to take this one. I don't really root for anybody. I'm a caster. I'm not allowed to do that most of the time. That only happens when Wilson Central's playing. Spoiler alert, by the way, they play next, but that's not really the point. I I'm looking at this game and saying anybody can take it, especially in the EGFH. More often than not, you have those two or three front runners in most of those groups where you say, oh yeah, if these teams play anybody other than each other, they should win most of their games. But I don't think this is one of those games. This should be fairly close. I'm looking at a possibly game 4, game 5 scenario. A 3-0 would surprise me, but they happen more often than not in the EGFH anyway.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of 3-0s. I mean, in this pool in particular, right, with schools like Wilson Central, who we will see later, they're a very talented squad. They're 3-0 so far. Silas Gold currently sitting fourth overall in the standings at 1-1. So we'll have to see if they can kind of, start to claw their way back up, because that pool play, it can be so difficult to deal with if you don't set yourself up for success coming into the postseason. But we are underway in this series. Cyber Owls in the orange and Silas Gold in the blue.
And they're starting off with some decent offensive pressure. The problem is a little bit of a double commit on that opening touch leads them to disadvantageous positioning later on and maybe a little less to work with on the offensive side. Good pop into the midfield. A double commit as well from Smith County. Over aggression early on, but it should iron out after these first couple minutes.
Yeah, both teams kind of settling into the series here. Zagger Zegs, I remember their key plays in week one were really what kind of set up the offense for this Cyber Owls squad. They got numerous good touches in the infield and were able to get a couple of backdoor goals. So we'll see if the Cyber Owls can come up with something. And there he is, Zagger Zegs on the quick kind of dump in here off the infield pass. Taserface. Just look at all three members of Silas Gold getting caught off guard. Everyone inside the box, and no one comes out to challenge.
Hey, Soy, I don't know if you're new to casting, but a caster's curse is supposed to do the opposite of what you say. You're not supposed to predict the future. You're not supposed to give away the fact that we have the script. You just casually mention, oh yeah, this guy was good in week one, then he scores. You're giving away that we know the future. Oh my goodness. Amateur hour out here.
Listen, I'll tuck the paper away for this time, because Ghostly's going to get one here off the corner. As Taserface, they set up the first play here, but Poison JDM with a great read sets up his teammate Ghostly with the far post shot.
Quick chat, wow, as your goal explosion. Good setup there from Silas to quickly respond. Smith County, even with that opener, are immediately traded upon. So we're right back to even. Zagger's Eggs right back into the midfield. Remiata, that's how you say it. Remiata does indeed clear it, but only as far as Papa Torb, but not able to do that much with it.
Maybe a chance here for Silas Gold to break out. Look for a demo there. Ghostly finds one. It's that third member, though, so Zagger's Eggs can push forward. They get the read off the 50 as well, but Poison JDM will be able to clear that ball away. Now Papa Torbu going to be able to move that one forward, but it's going to be blocked away. Maybe a chance now for Remiata. The shot is stopped by Zagger's Eggs, so both defenses able to make some plays here, but it feels like in terms of the quality of chances, you got to be favoring the Cyber Owls so far.
They're looking pretty good, and the problem for Silas is they cannot continuously keep that ball on the front attacking half. Fortuitous bounce there. Pass Papa Torb, able to get it further forward. Again, Ghosty's there with aggression. Miata back into the midfield, and it waterfalls down for Poison JDM. They assisted the first one, they will score the second, as Silas Gold will take the lead.
It's a great feed off the corner there. Taserface is in a generally good position, but coming off the wall back to the ground, when you have to jump off of it because of the angle that you're at, kind of puts him in a disadvantageous position, and it's a great capitalization by Silas Gold. So they jump on a quick opportunity. They might have another one here. The rebound's right in front, and Ghostly will push it in. All of a sudden, it's 3 unanswered goals for Silas Gold.
Again, you just continuously see Poison JDM included in these goals. 2 assists and a goal themselves, and, well, once more, it's a lead for them. Just extending it this time around, almost scoring a follow-up. They may very well do so. Luckily, Taserface gets a touch, but only as far as Poison JDM, who has 100% goal participation for the team. 2 assists, 2 goals, and 4 as a whole for Silas Gold.
Looking very strong here. That's a nice power shot to the near post, not giving the defense any time to really react or recuperate from that kickoff chance. And now a 3-goal lead very quickly. Zagger's Eggs can't find the touch, and guess who? Poison JDM, a hat trick here with just under half the game remaining.
That may very well just be the nail in the coffin. Even though there's just under half the game, Silas has shown no signs of slowing down. And Smith County at this point need to find a return, or this first game's a write-off, and it's not tax season yet. There's your return, and bar down for Papa Torb Uwu, as they will bring it back to a 3-goal deficit.
What a shot from Papa Torb, right? The speed on that shot off a kickoff, and they've got so much space, and crossbar and down is just so difficult to read as a defender. No one able to get back in time, but what a huge moment there, right? We talked about how Zagger's Eggs has been kind of the lead man offensively, that first man in on the rotation, but to see the rest of the team get involved offensively is a very good sign for the Cyber Owls.
They're looking to turn it into more offensive pressure as well. Taserface is up, is met by Poison JDM. Zagger's Eggs does get the 50, up as well. A follow-up is there, a shot off the backboard, and Zagger's Eggs, a pass, into a shot to the back of the net. Smith County, in the span of 30 seconds, have split that lead in 2.
I feel like the Cyber Owls have just started to find that next gear, right? They had the opening edge against Silas Gold, then all of a sudden Silas Gold felt like they were just faster to a lot of these plays, but now you're seeing players like Papa Torb kind of find that next gear and react and say, okay, we can't let this team, just continue to push the ball away from us. We got to get in front of the plays here, and they're able to get 2 quick goals to strike back. Now the question is, can they find 2 more here? But they might give up one off of the defensive touch. Ghosty's going to find one here. An unfortunate sequence of events, but what an angle from Ghosty.
Pastor Torb Uwu almost getting back. They get the touch, just only elevating themselves into the air. Basically a repeat target just to send it to the back of the net. The lead's back to 3, and they say you need about a minute to score 3 goals. Well, oh my goodness, they would have needed a minute and a half to score 4. Taserface now forward is cut off. Poison JDM interrupting the passing lane, now looking for a shot of their own. It will be denied by the backboard, almost, however, redirected and scored by the defender.
Ghosty's going to retreat here. Poison JDM will help back them up.
What a shot.
Yeah, cleared from distance and on target, so that's going to burn some boost as well. Zaggerzegs inside the box is going to pick up a savior medal, and from the backboard they'll chip it out, but Ghosty's already up for this ball. Zaggerzegs forced back. No boost in the tank here really to move this ball forward, so it just slowly rolls to Miata, and Miata's got a backboard touch here. Can they get back to it? No, they're going to leave it for Poison. Shot towards the far post, cleared away by Zaggerzegs.
Oh, and they're not done yet. Silas re-attack. Ghosty looking to pass it off the back wall is interrupted by Papa Torb. Taserface is there, will leave it for their teammate, who unfortunately does indeed whiff. And Taserface is caught off guard. Miata keeping the pressure on, grabs a full boost, and is just barely denied by Zaggerzegs. Still wants the follow-up, will not find it. It's now down for Poison JDM, who gets a touch but only off the back wall. Pastor Torb will be able to clear it with just 20 seconds to go.
Ooh, that one's dangerous. Zaggerzegs
Wow.
almost read the 50, but it goes off the post and out, and that might just do it. Time ticking down here. If that one went in, maybe they've got a chance, but with the clock working against them, Zaggerzegs won't be able to flick one towards the back post, and this one will be cleared away, and Silas Gold will get one more for the road. Final score is going to be 7-3.
Just adding insult to injury now, and it's not looking good if you are on the Smith County side. You find the opening goal, and then Silas just decide, oh yeah, we'll score 5 in a row to return, putting the nail in the coffin fairly shortly.
Interesting game, though, overall. Very back and forth, right? Smith County, they had the opener. Then Silas gets just a bundle of goals right off the bat. Poison JDM earning a well-deserved MVP in that game in particular. But then you saw Smith County start to battle back. It just felt like they kind of ran out of time. I think the biggest thing was boost control for them, right? It felt like Zaggerzegs, how many times did we see him hustle back, make a diving save all along the goal line, and then when he tries to clear the ball, he's got nothing left in the tank. He can't get any power. He can't get the ball in the hood of his car. There's just not a whole lot of options left for him to get through that midfield.
It's a combination of boost management and team boost management as well. If you are just one player clearing the ball out and then turning it into offensive pressure every single time, you yourself are not going to have enough boost to do so. Meaning that your team is not going to have the real estate that you maybe foresaw if that was the case. Obviously, because Smith County continue to run into those issues, well, they will continually be cut down by the forecheck, hockey term for you, a forecheck of Silas, and it's working out very well for Silas. They're measuring their aggression much better than they were off the earlier part of the game. After finding that first return goal, they were in a much better spot.
Yeah, I think the key moving forward for the Cyber Owls is to not panic so much defensively. Taserface did a fantastic job. I think he had about 3 saves very early on in that game, but then couldn't quite find themselves in the right spot. Was often, just behind the play or was behind in the rotation, trying to guard something that was already being covered. So that positioning's got to be key, but to not panic so much on those defensive touches. Taserface had that save off of the post very early, right? And that led to more offensive pressure for Silas Gold. Focus on getting that first clean, good touch, and that will help move this ball through the midfield and give your offense a chance to go to work.
Well, it's apparently not done. Picking up where they left off with an opening goal. Ghosty, a fortuitous tap off the post, no less. If that doesn't hit the post, it's cleared out. We are still locked at 0 apiece. Luckily, the 4th defender turns into the 4th attacker for the first time in history, and Silas open up the game with a goal.
The recognition there from Ghosty. He touches that ball into the corner and then is instantly turning to pick up the corner boost and recognizes the pass back out and says, hey, I can win the race back to this ball, and is able to shoot near side post and in. Ghosty's up for this one as well, and Papa Torb able to block that one out. Zaggerzegs now trying to move forward here. Won't be able to get it over Miata. Taserface now trying to clear this one off the sideboards. Poison and Ghosty are there. The Papa Torb threatening in that midfield. They just opt to play it away, and now all 3 members can move forward for Silas.
Miata had an opportunity at the goal because of the demo, unfortunately does not take it, so the ball is cleared out, but only as far as Ghosty, who again is putting on pressure to this defensive side. Poison JDM there with a 50, Papa Torb to recuperate their losses on the Smith County side, but again, only as far as half field. Silas has not allowed Smith County past the halfway mark of the field since like a minute left in game number 1.
And even here, they get it cleared away, but it's only for a moment. Zaggerzegs now trying to use the boost to move forward. Tries to 50 Ghosty, but Ghosty's got just more boost in the tank. They're going to win that challenge. Two players commit here. They bump each other along the wall. Poison nearly had a short side goal, but it rolls by. Now Ghosty chips it back to the midfield. They get this ball into the blue half. Ghosty and Miata, everyone up for Silas Gold, and two players backtracking while doing so. No one able to go out and challenge for the Cyber Owls as they're looking for boost once again.
Poison JDM in the midfield with boost and the ball. Gets a bump and a touch off the back wall. Now for Miata, the shot to the far corner. It's there as Miata will find that weakness in the chain link fence that is the Smith County defensive hold and extend the lead now to 2. Well placed, well set up, and well executed there for Silas.
And you see again from the Cyber Owls, all three members kind of bundled in the same spot. Is they're going to get a kickoff goal here? Maybe. It's off the post, now off the backboard. Poison sets up Ghosty. It's going to be Miata with the shot, but it's too high and wide. Silas could have had a 3-0 lead there. Poison now can't make the save. Ghosty's going to be able to bail them out. But again, feels like the defense of the Cyber Owls generally in the right spot, but they got to communicate, and here they're able to do so as Zaggerzegs dashes in and cuts this lead in half.
Great pass there from Taserface I think that's dogging on Silas a little bit. Maybe the Uno reverse card will be placed down later on in this game. Finding the small mistakes there for Smith County, they will be able to expose them and turn it, most importantly, into a goal to cut the lead in half, down to just 1 at this point. But there's Silas back the other way, already with offensive pressure, already making sure that Smith County is stretched thin, and look at the goal! It's completely undefended. Ghosty has just duped the entire team. The most effortless of fakes turns into Miata's most effortless of goals.
That fake was beautiful from Ghosty. Gets both defenders to bite. And when both defenders go, it leaves that door open for Miata, like you said. So very well done by Ghosty. And Ghosty's really turned up here in game number 2, right? Game number 1, Poison had so many clean touches, but Ghosty's turned into a sniper. And now Miata is going to put in a hat trick here, and they are having themselves a day. Look at this dribble around the last defender, and the rest is just easy money on the flick.
4-1 now for Silas. We've seen this scoreline before, and it was almost at the exact same point in our previous game, just about 2-minute 45 mark rather than the 2:15 mark, and it was 5-1 at halftime. Still looking pretty good for Silas Gold. Smith County, again, have some recuperating to do, and sooner rather than later if they want to stay in this game, much less this series. Miata finds a weakness, will take the ball and look to fake out Zaggerzegs, is able to at least get it past him, but only as far as the corner, and the follow-up touch is missed, but there's still pressure here for Silas Gold. Luckily for Smith County, Papa Torb's able to clear it, and Taserface is able to follow up as well.
Another booming clear here. And the Cyber Owls now, they are the ones who are starting to get kind of backdoored here a couple of times because they feel that pressure of being down 3 goals, and they're all trying to move forward with each other, find each other. A couple of times we've seen this, big booming clear of a pass, and Zaggerzegs being that player trying to move forward, connect on that infield pass, trying to make something happen off the breakout. But if all 3 members are moving forward, that means no one's back to defend. And Silas, that's why their attacks look so much more dangerous. Everyone for the Cyber Owls is trying to hustle back and play that defensive side after the one offensive push that they get. But Ghosty here might be able to come up with something. No, Papa Torb will be able to shut that play down, and Zaggerzegs moves the ball out.
Ghosty caught. Taserface a follow-up, looking for a follow-up touch as well. It goes off the crossbar, but goes away. A follow-up is there. Ghosty defends off the crossbar, but Zaggerzegs, third time's a charm there for Smith County. They'll cut the lead down to 2, and with 45 seconds, look to mount their comeback into this second game.
That goal took a lot, but it was enough to get them back in striking distance here. We saw a kickoff goal from them last time as well. Wonder if they've got anything cooked up here. Looks like Taserface can't find the touch. Zaggerzegs is back, but it's a free shot for Miata, and he puts it in the perfect corner. What a snipe that was from Miata.
Top shelf, perfect time and perfect speed, just floating it up and over. Zaggerzegs, no way to get to it. It goes off the corner. Not the post, not the crossbar, both at the same time. If you do that in soccer, normally at least, I say you're cheating. You do that in Rocket League, I'll probably say you're cheating anyway, but we know that's not the case.
Miata going to move forward here with 30 seconds remaining, and Silas now with a firm grip here on game number 2 of this series. Taserface can't break out, and Zaggerzegs is going to get shut down by Ghosty as well. The control that Silas have right now, their ability to not only move the ball forward, but to find each other.
What a touch.
The mechanics are just too clean right now, and Ghosty is going to put in an empty net goal here, 6-2 with 8 seconds remaining.
Perfect time and perfect touch there for Ghosty in the midfield. Gets it up and over, puts themselves in a good position to get the boost, and then push even further forward. And Smith County just barely caught out. Nobody on the defensive side. Nobody there to protect this house as... Oh, no, not another one. With 2 seconds left, Silas Gold will make it 7 in a single game for the second game in a row.
And how does he get that intercept, right? It feels like, okay, defender's got a pretty good control of this ball. Taserface is right there. Surely he finds another touch. Nope, Poison just snatches it from the hood of his car with a simple flick the moment he turned away. And all of a sudden, it's 7-2, and that will be the final score of game number 2. Silas Gold find themselves on match point.
Ghosty got a 39 feet per second goal, by the way. I'm not sure what that is in miles per hour. I'm pretty sure it's like 47 or something like that. Let's see, 39 FPS in MPH. Quick Google search. 26.5. Wow, that's a lot slower than I thought it was. Nice shot. And I don't know how in the world that got past him, but hey, Smith County, unfortunately, not able to get back for it.
Yeah, and I feel like right now Silas Gold are just kind of making the simple plays look even better than they are, right? It feels like Smith County are trying to do especially when it comes to dribbling through the midfield, right? That's been one of their best ways to clear the ball. Either a booming clear right up Main Street, or dribble it out and see if you can get a 50. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But then you see them lose control for just that extra second. Right? That dribble was just too clean. It just barely gets away from them. And that's the moment that Silas are able to leap on that on possession, steal the ball away. The simple stuff is just coming a little bit easier to Silas Gold right now. The mechanics and that they have are on display because of that, right? Just making making sure that the bread and butter stuff is on lock right now. Because Smith County, I feel like there's still that little bit of the antsiness, the panic on this side.
Silas will look to close it out in 3. This is their opportunity to do so, and Ghosty starts things off fairly well, already putting pressure on Smith County. It's only been about 5 seconds. Silas finally put on that defensive side, but again, they're able to easily clear it out, or at least recuperate themselves organizingly enough. He says, while they get scored on, Smith County opened up with a goal.
This will be the Cyber Owls' first lead of the series, and it's all off of Taserface. Oh, sorry, you're right. Second lead of the series, and Zaggerzegs putting in the opening one. So this all comes off the back of Taserface, right? What great positioning from them to not only get that first touch, but then to put it off of the wall and force the defender to react. 9 times out of 10, that's a shot on goal. But he says, nope, if I put it towards the net, towards the wall, the defender has to react thinking that it's on net. And instead, it's an easy tap in for Zaggerzegs. The Cyber Owls have the early lead here, but can they hold on here as Ghosty try to tuck one in the near side post?
Poison JDM across as well. Miata's there, but does miss the demo and the ball up until they actually clear the ball out for Smith County. A little bit of friendly fire on that one, and Miata misses just the same. It's Poison JDM in a 1v1 with Taserface. Do they get there in time? They actually get help. Miata from across, coming out of absolutely nowhere, scores it for Silas, and they tie us right back up.
Everything thinking Poison JDM is going to get back to this ball, but Miata was already racing up the field. They picked up the midfield boost and turned, and they just punched that ball to the near side post, or sorry, far side post. And there's no real time for Taserface to react. They're just put in such a bad spot. They would have had the read of the century to make that save. But regardless, we're down to a tie game here early on. Papa Torb in an odd spot. They don't find the double touch, but Zaggerzegs quick to respond to that play.
In a 1v1, he actually beats Poison. Wow, what a touch. I thought he was going to try and fake him out. Instead, just takes the high road and the fast route. Gets it right by Poison JDM, who was expecting a little bit of a slower approach, and is able to score it again for Smith County. Now their third lead of the series, and maybe their most important.
Yeah, big one, like you mentioned. And again, the Cyber Owls, their offense, they've got shooters on this team. It's just been that the past couple weeks, they haven't had time to get their offense to go to work. They can score on the opportunities they're given, but those opportunities have been few and far between. Zaggerzegs, they're going to get by another defender here. Is this another open net? Yes, it is. A 3-1 lead, the largest lead of the day for the Cyber Owls.
The one they may be able to keep as well. Game 4 now more than likely, as they will hold strong. It is a reverse sweep scenario for Smith County. Reverse sweeps, for all of you unfamiliar, is when you are facing map or match point to close out a series without scoring yourself, and then you basically complete a sweep in the final games and with the final chances possible, i.e. going down 2-0 in a best of 5 and then winning it 3-2.
Oh my goodness, off the crossbar, Taserface wants one, he's going to tap it up, Papa Torb is there, off the backboard, but Poison JDM will be able to bail out his team in the last moments there, because you saw Zaggerzegs lurking just outside the box, ready to respond to that play. They're going to be able to get this one out of harm's way for the moment. Taserface gets the first block, and Papa Torb dives back to make another save. We've seen a couple of these defensive plays from the Cyber Owls, last-second heroics, but they're getting there just in time. That one's going to roll just wide, though, and the Cyber Owls dodge another bullet.
All 4 defenders for Smith County coming through. Taserface, and most importantly, towards the end, Zaggerzegs, Papa Torb, and the post in the end. Ghosty, almost there, but it's Poison JDM again out of nowhere. A goal for Silas. They cut the lead to just 1. And again, it's Smith County being caught out, expecting one touch, getting something, more importantly, completely different, but I think most importantly, faster.
Yeah, the speed right now certainly favoring Silas Gold. Just the chances they've had are so threatening. And even here, a double commit comes through. A double commit was on that last goal too, but there's not too much Papa Torb could have really done after that jump. So now with 2 minutes remaining, only a 1-goal lead for the Cyber Owls. Zaggerzegs will be able to get this clear. Miata is on the wall here, and that was someone up way early. I believe it was Zaggerzegs looking for another touch. They're trying to find another pass back to Papa Torb, but they can't find it. Zegs doing his best job to kind of cut down on these passing plays. Backwards here with no boost. He'll just kick that one back out off the spoiler of his car, and now they'll move the other way. Papa Torb to dump it right back down in. Minute 30 now on the clock here. It feels like for Silas, they've had most of the possession, but the fact that the Cyber Owls are able to clear this ball fairly consistently now is a very good sign for their defense.
Smith County's goal right now is slowing down the pace of the game. They do not want to allow Silas to throw them off with maybe a closeted play in the close corner, especially one like that. Almost Smith County extending back to 2. Ghosty caught out, missed touch, is punished upon. Taserface's follow-up, however, misses. And boost now for Ghosty. This may be an offensive pressure bit for Silas, but they overcommit all 3 players in the offensive half. Luckily, Smith County can't punish.
Dangerous spot for the ball, but it is enough time for Miata to get back. Poison JDM now. Gonna get cut off by Taserface. And not a whole lot of boost to work with, so Zaggerzegs will come in and challenge. They've got minimal boost in the tank. They're just looking to 50. Slow down the pace of play, like you said. Nice challenge in front. Papa Torb gets blocked out by Poison JDM, but that's a back pass. Zaggerzegs is there. 30 seconds remaining. They get the touch to the infield, but it's only Miata who has possession of this ball. They juke one. They try and flick past the second, but it gets kicked out to the corner. 20 seconds left, and they were able to take the corner boost as well.
Ghosty down, will need to get a touch forward, and does so with a pinch. Unfortunate touch from Miata allows Papa Torb to regather this Smith County defense. One last offensive bit of pressure here for Silas, and it'll be courtesy of Miata. Taserface needs to get up, but doesn't do so in time. This will go off the back wall. One final touch of the ground. It goes off the corner. Ghosty keeps it alive, up in the air. A follow-up touch is there from Miata, but it's not enough. Smith County will force a fourth game, and will keep themselves alive in the series.
Big opening start from this Smith County squad. Zaggerzegs getting the hat trick, as you see on that scoreboard. But really, it started with Taserface and Papa Torb making big plays in the early game, right? Taserface getting that early assist, baiting in two defenders, pushing that ball to the wall, and then Zaggerzegs able to dash in and make those plays offensively. It's up to the depth of this Cyber Owls squad to make plays, because we've seen what Zaggerzegs can do. But if Taserface step up, if Papa Torb can step up, the Cyber Owls squad looks a whole lot more complete, and then they can challenge the Silas defense through and through.
Well, it is one more game at a bare minimum here as Smith County look to stay alive again and force a fifth game, where both teams will be on match point. Both teams will need one to win the series. Miata misses an opening opportunity to give Silas a first goal. And again, a little bit of an overcommit from Silas means they're too far forward and they're not in the greatest position to turn offense back in forward. It will cost them, and it really had in that previous game. I think 2 of those goals really off the back of just overcommitments.
Now Papa Torb, wow, the tee up for Taserface, and they'll be able to get it into the blue corner. Kicks out off the wall. Zaggerzegs is there to dump it right back down in. The chase down by Taserface will leave some pressure on, but Miata will now take it to the wall. No boost in the tank, so they'll make the infield pass. Ghosty is there. I believe that was Taserface up early for it. Papa Torb will get the block. Taserface, last man back, avoids the bump from Ghosty and will clear that ball away. Now Taserface looking for Zaggerzegs, but they won't need the touch. Taserface's shot goes through, and the Cyber Owls once again strike first.
4, by the way, for the Cyber Owls in opening goals scored in games 1, 3, and 4 now, as they will take the lead again. And again, it's about a minute into the game. They're looking pretty good to come out of the gate swinging. Zaggerzegs does miss their opportunity as the ball waterfalls down. Ghosty trying not to do so, but unfortunately just corners it and gives now Smith County a way out. Taserface now with the ball is cut out by Ghosty, making up for their previous transgressions, I suppose, against their own team. But it's still just offensive pressure that Silas cannot fully nullify.
Well, it's a good feed in. And a dangerous clear. Papa Torb can't read it, though, and now that means Silas gets some offensive pressure. Harsh kick out off the corner. Miata and Ghosty are there. It's going to be Miata who taps it in, but this was so speedy off the corner here. Look at the touch and the kick out off the wall. Zaggerzegs did his best, but cannot read it fast enough, and Miata ties the game at 1.
Piece. Silas much better than Smith County in previous iterations of tied up score lines, technically 2-1 in terms of being tied versus winning, same in terms of our games, just the same, but again, not really the point. Miata off the back wall, looking for a follow-up. Poison JDM is there, but doesn't get it on goal. Ghosty, both him and Zaggerzegs backflip and get away from the ball rather than hitting it forward in their respective directions. But it's still Silas here with the pressure, and Papa Torb misses an opportunity. So does Poison JDM. The ball is still just careening off the middle of the net. How in the world is that not in the back of the net with Silas leading?
So dangerously close for so many odd reasons, but they'll get away with one.
How?
What a read
How?
by Zaggerzegs off the wall. Are you kidding me? How does he find this angle? Miata plays it in, and Zaggerzegs is there.
Sure, because after all that happened in front of the Smith County net, Silas is like, oh yeah, let's just forget to play defense. In all fairness, not really their fault. Good read, good goal. You just feel so bad for Silas, who had all the advantages until they didn't. Papa Torb, good save, recuperating for the unexpected first touch. Poison JDM off the corner, Miata there as well, off the corner just the same, but a read again is there, and Smith County will continue to hold the line and keep themselves in this lead in Game 4.
Ghosty doesn't have much to do here in the corner. They threatened the challenge, but they baited their teammate off the ball, which means that The Owls had the opportunity to clear, but Poison will be able to move that ball out. Ghosty was there for the touch, but he kicked it out wide. Miata now from the corner. Low angle here. Trying to move this ball off the wall. Ghosty moves in to assist. Poison is up, but Taserface was ready. The whiff comes
That's
through.
a goal.
And it's Zaggerzegs in an open net situation. They get the demo on the back of the play as well. And the Cyber Owls have a 3-1 lead.
I refuse to believe this is actually happening. Soy, we are living in a simulation. This series is not an actual thing. Smith County were dumpstered in games 1 and 2. I don't even know if I can find a better adjective for a 7-3 and 7-2 back-to-back scoreline. And yet, they're keeping it close in game number 4. They've already won game number 3 against a lot of odds, and they're still in this series. Goal differential means something, but not as much as game differential does, and they are still in this series.
Still plenty of time left for Silas Gold to try and bring this one back, but their offense has really been slowed down. I think partially because of this corner play. While they did find one off the corner, that corner is just so safe for the ball to be in, especially for the defense. It's such an easy read off the wall most times. You have to really get an absurd kick out like you saw earlier in this game to kind of break through the defense. And the rotation, too, for the Cyber Owls has been really unaffected, as that's a harsh pinch off the wall, but Zaggerzegs is going to be able to respond to that one. And Taserface wins the race to this ball. The Cyber Owls, I mean, their rotation just looks so comfortable right now, despite some panic and some double commits here and there. It feels like they just constantly now have the time to get back and ready to make some of these defensive stands.
Out of forward, looking to keep the ball on this front foot for Silas. Poison JDM, this should waterfall down. It does at least go in front of the net. Ghosty hits it straight up. Again, it'll go in front of the net, but it does not go in. That's the most important part for Smith County. The ball is seemingly spent forever and a day in front of the Smith County net, but most importantly, just not in it. And they've retained their lead forever in this series, at least most importantly for games 3 and 4. Ghosty off the corner, again a centering ball, but Taserface is there. It will clear it again, and Ghosty, the all-important miss. Will Miata be able to score it? Not a chance. That may very well be Smith County winning Game 4 and sending us to a 5th. It should be indeed.
Clearing away, ball will touch the ground, and we are going to Game 5 in this series. Zaggerzegs, Papa Torb, Taserface, they're stepping up right now with their back against the wall. They're finding some goals. And while Silas, again, feels like they had the higher quality of chances in this series, like you mentioned, they just haven't been able to find the back of the net.
Still can't believe how in the world Smith County came back from a 14-5 goal difference in games number 1 and 2 and are just casually tied in the series now. Because, well, Rocket League. I think that's all I have to say. Clean comeback for them, especially in game number 3. Game number 4, I think the all-important one to put them on that front foot, and then somehow they are putting themselves in a game 5 scenario. I cannot say that I had that one on my bingo card.
I think part of it is the Cyber Owls jumping on some of the miscues from Silas Gold, right? Silas are constantly pushing forward. They're constantly putting 3 members in the attacking half. And we look at, plays. Honestly, I feel like the difference maker in that 4th game was Zaggerzegs on that 2nd goal. That goal off the wall changed the complexion of the game, giving them a 2-1 lead, and then finding that empty net just about a minute later to make it 3-1 was fantastic for the Cyber Owls. But that's what it takes sometimes, right? Sometimes you need that spark, that one play, that one heavy read. And the Cyber Owls have that right now. They've got the momentum in this series because of it. Now, their defense, again, it's not as strong as we'd like it to be. There have been moments where it feels like they can break through, where Silas Gold can break through, but it's getting the job done, and it's giving their offense chances. And like I mentioned before, this offense has shooters. They can score on the opportunities. They just haven't had that many in the past couple of weeks. Now you're seeing what they can do with multiple chances to get this offense going.
So right now, by the way, we'd usually be in the game. My game was kind enough to just casually crash, so I'm trying to get back in. I'm not sure if they've started. They have indeed, so we're 30 seconds into the game. Luckily, nothing has happened. So, as I snap my fingers, oh my goodness, what a magic trick. We're right back in. Sorry about that one. About 40 seconds gone in game number 5, after a casual game crash and us getting right back underway. Seems like Silas, after we've rejoined, want to give the viewers a show, but luckily for them, or unluckily for them, I suppose, Zagger's Eggs is still there on the defense, and somehow Smith County have like 49 saves in 2 games. That one will not be 50, as Silas will open up this game with a goal.
You get the high five off the back of it, but Poison, look at the turn, and this is what we saw early on in the series from Silas, right? To give Silas Gold the lead was these quick rotations, these quick innovative plays. You know, normally it's just 1 and done or 2 and done for these offensive touches, but Silas Gold, when they were finding offensive chances, the rotation was quickly cut off. Those quick turns after stealing the boost, the recognition of, hey, this ball got touched out back to me. I can turn and make a play on this ball. And that's where Silas Gold has really thrived, and they find the opener because of it here in Game 5.
Papa into the midfield, but it is again met by Poison JDM. Taserface off the back wall, but there's the follow-up. Poison JDM again there. Cannot clear it out all that far. Can Smith County. There's Ghosty off the back wall. Up again, but they go a little bit too far. Miata and Poison JDM. It'll be the latter who's credited with the goal, and Silas again to score. Game 5 where it matters, and Silas know it as they open it up with 2 back-to-back goals.
The one aspect of this game that's really kind of been back and forth is the 50 game between these two. You can tell when the Cyber Owls struggled early, they didn't have boosts, they couldn't win a lot of the 50s, and Silas knows that, and they have decided, you know, their ability to read the play, they just said, let's just pick up the pace here. We're able to read these 50s a little bit faster. They're constantly being pushed into their own back third. Let's just go, and just that ability to win the 50 will eventually create space for your teammates to either shoot or pass or score. And that's what we're seeing here early on. They're starting to get a lot of these solid challenges. Even that one's dangerous in front. And Miata will play cleanup crew here. They put in goal number 3 with just over half the game remaining.
No team has come back from a deficit any more than 1 in this series. And that was Silas, all the way back in game number 1. Since then, well, it's been whoever really scores first will win. And thus far, it's been a trade between the 2 squads. Poison JDM, another shot and another goal. It will be the hat-trick, as they almost certainly, maybe, I wouldn't say certainly, but almost put the nail in the coffin for Smith County.
4 goals and just over half the game still remaining. But again, it feels like Silas have just hit the gear shift. They've turned on the nitrous, right? They have found that next level offensively, and the speed is favoring them in this series. Zagger's Eggs can't find a touch, but they get one defender out. They make a second one whiff, and Poison JDM from the corner will tap in their 4th out of 5 for Silas Gold.
You know, I consider myself a statistics man. So I know in the EGFC you keep track of individualized statistics throughout every single player. Here's an individual statistics for you. JDM, or Poison JDM, in totality, in this 5-game series, has 10 goals. And that doesn't even count Game 4, because they didn't even score in Game 4. They have 10 goals between games 1, 2, 3, and 5, and Game 5 is only 3/5 of the way done.
Yeah, they've been such a consistent rock for this offense, and they're going to continue to push the pace here. They're looking for another play, but Zagger's Eggs will be able to shut them down. And like you mentioned, right, that whoever kind of gains that early edge has typically won this series. In the early game, very much so in favor of Silas. And they're not making as many mistakes as well as they did in games 3 and 4, but maybe Taserface has called them out here. Ghosty able to dive back and make that save. Papa Torb gets it around 1. The feed for Zagger's Egg. Short side, he can't get the double tap, and the rebound will be whiffed upon. Now Poison looking for Miata in front. Zagger's Eggs dives back to make that save, gets in front of the next block, and Miata won't win their challenge. Some back and forth action, but it's all working in favor of Silas Gold.
Just barely, though, as Silas will continue to hold the lead, but they're still playing a hefty amount of defense. The benefit for them, their lead really insurmountable at this point. Good defense there from Zagger's Eggs, but JDM with their 5th goal in a single game, by the way, will make it 6-0 Silas. And with just a minute left, 1 goal every 10 seconds is a little less than likely for the Smith County Cyber Owls.
Yeah, 6-0 is certainly rough. They might get one here, though, off the whiff. It's just going to dribble slowly in. Papa Torb will end up getting the credit for it along the goal line. So 1 back for the Cyber Owls, but you can't depend on this to be consistent offense, right? Off of the kickoffs, they've been able to find a couple openings, but it feels like that clock is certainly ever present in a matchup like this.
Hey, I mean, needing 1 goal every 10 seconds, they've gotten the first in 7, so they're ahead of the curve thus far. They will remain to be until the 42nd mark, but it's still not looking all that good for them. Taserface forward, and that may very well end things. The pass across, the ball to almost solidify this game's conclusion. Papa Torb cut off, and 30 seconds left. Silas, even with a flick to add insult to injury, maybe an open net. It's Papa Torb only, who does turn the ball back, and on goal as well. Zagrzegs will solidify it. 20 seconds left, and only 4 goals required. No biggie.
Well, stranger things have happened, but this one certainly feels very rough for the Cyber Owls to pull off. They need a miracle of a playoff, a kickoff here to make this reasonable. And Miata wins it so harshly that Papa Torb is not going to be able to hustle back in time. And in Game 5, when Silas needed to step up to stop the reverse sweep, oh boy, they did. Everyone really making plays, but the biggest key, like you mentioned, Poison JDM stepping up to the plate in such a big way, helping secure this series, and they lock it down in Game 5. They win this series, but Poison JDM, what a performance.
5 goals in game number 5 alone. 11 in the series, basically solidifying the W of their own accord. And if you're going to take a series in game 5, that, my friends, is how you do it. We gotta run very quickly, Soy, but before we do into our next series, any final thoughts from this one?
Oh, good stuff to see from both schools. Obviously, Silas Gold's offense looks very impressive, putting up that number of goals through this best of 5 series. Fantastic to see, and you can see again for Smith County, for Smith County, the Cyber Owls, this offense can score. They can counterattack you. They can score in a couple different ways, but they just got to give their offense a chance to really go to work. They've got to work on that defensive play next week, and I'm excited to see how their season looks headed forward.
Well, their season's not done, nor is today here for the EGFH. Our week will conclude, at least in Rocket League, with Wilson Central High School taking on Faith Lutheran High School when we come back from the break. The newcomers taking on the old guard. Any expectations to this match?
Well, this should be a good one because, despite the disparity of experience, these are two teams that are really hitting their stride at the right time. Both are 3-0 so far in the regular season, and they're both looking to remain undefeated and remain at the top of the standings. Wilson Central, they've always been a team to fear, especially in the Rocket League scene here, pretty consistently atop their pool and deep playoff runs as well. We'll have to see how they fare against the newcomers in the Crusaders that have played so well through the first 3 weeks.
Well, looks like they're ready to go, so we will get into the game with no further delay. Faith Lutheran looking to bring in the technical upset. As the newcomers, they are the technically unfavored team. But again, these teams are both 3-0. The difference is they haven't played as many of the same opponents, so it's a little bit more difficult to tell who's really in front. But if you saw Wilson Central High School last year, you'll know that they're basically favored in just about every match they play, unless, of course, they forfeit like in the semifinals of the national championships.
an unfortunate spot for them. And it felt like the way that they were playing, right, that they could compete with the top, with teams like Lake Wales, but we didn't get to see those matchups, unfortunately. And I feel like the goal for them this year has been to get back to that stage, to go back and see if they can compete with the champions from last year. Whereas Faith Lutheran, very kind of an exploratory season for them, right? Newcomers to the scene, and so far so strong. But Sean might have a drop down angle. That one will be blocked away. Julian can't get in front of this one. Apostrophe able to block that one out, and Julian will be able to kick it over top of the last defender. Maybe a chance here. Sean on the follow-up. Shot is wide, and Faith Lutheran will get away with one.
For all of you fans of familiarity, Julian is the new face here at Wilson Central, replacing DPK from our previous season. Apostrophe and Sean, both here from the previous season as well. Ball forward, it's Lil Baby Disciple, ironically of Faith Lutheran. I suppose the name is ever so fitting. There to turn it forward. Apostrophe up already, and Wilson Central have not played over-aggressive thus far. They're really just trying to feel out Faith Lutheran, make sure they know how they want to play, and or propel themselves into bump plays, because that works, I suppose.
Jemiah trying to find a challenge there. Was able to keep it in the blue half, but only for a moment. Julian, what a read on that one. Sean,
what a pass.
What a passing play that was. Wilson Central. Look at the extension here. Julian with the read off the backboard, and everyone's up, but Sean wins the race, and Wilson Central's first to strike.
All three players getting involved as well. Apostrophe rockets it up for Julian, who sends it off the backboard, and Sean reads it ever so perfectly. Apostrophe maybe looking for a solo play now, has the air dribble up and over, but Lil Baby Disciple there to turn it away and say, not today.
That one kicked out. Sean on the intercept here. Jemiah's got to be able to make that save. Julian now for this one. Going to kick it off the corner. Looking to make a play here. Kicks down harshly. Apostrophe is there. Sean now able to move forward. Not able to get back to that ball, but Julian will be able to keep it in. Jemiah doesn't find the touch. WCIB able to make this play happen into the corner, but he's got no boost left. Little Baby Disciple also won't find a touch. Julian looking for the far post. Apostrophe able to control this ball. Looking maybe for a follow-up from Sean, but Jemiah kicks it back into the corner. And so far, after a spectacular opener, both teams have been able to respond. A couple of whiffs here and there, but for the most part, very back and forth as Jemiah's putting a decent shot on the rebound, maybe towards the far post and out. Jemiah can't turn. He's got no boost.
No, Jemiah, no availability to get back there. Julian forward. Sean is there off the back wall, but it goes off the corner. It'll still be in front. Apostrophe looking for the goal. That'll go off the back wall as well. Sean gets up. Is the touch soft enough? It is indeed. Just tap it in, said Happy Gilmore. And Wilson Central abide by those golfing laws and are able to tap in their second.
Control from Sean there to turn and go up. And like you mentioned, get such a soft touch on that ball to make sure that it doesn't go straight into the backboard and it arcs back down. Very well done. And look at this air dribble, nearly able to get back to it, but Little Baby Disciple able to make that save. Now with a minute 30, still a dangerous ball. Sean's shot just wide. Little Baby Disciple can't win the race to the second chance here. And now a demo comes through. Julian, hard off the wall. Sean is there. Eviscerates the back line, but it will be cleared away now. Just over a minute remaining, and it feels like it's been a minute since the Crusaders have found some offense.
Yeah, that's back-to-back goals as well, where Apostrophe looks for air dribbles and Little Baby Disciple is there on the defensive side to deny it just the same. Sean forward, looking for a goal of their own, has no boost, is still supersonic, but is shut down. Julian just gets a bump. Jemiah's shot. Apostrophe is there and healthily collects the ball and is now turning it into a Wilson Central bit of attack. They collect boost as well, but they don't overcommit. They don't want to oversend themselves, so instead they will, I suppose, just get demoed.
And with 40 seconds left now, starting to feel the pressure of the clock are the Crusaders. Jemiah doesn't turn on this one. Now opts to go. Julian meets him up in the sky, but that's a dangerous shot on. Apostrophe able to make that save. Julian now looking for Sean, but it's too far behind him. Jemiah intercepts out of the corner. Centering pass. Propostrophe already there. Little baby disciple to kick it back in to the blue half. Sean gets bumped off of it. Jemiah chips it towards the back wall, but the clock is ticking away. Sean can't clear the ball. WCIB's shot is denied by Julian, and the clock will hit 0. Wilson Central take game 1.
I'm going to level with you. When I was originally looking at all the names, I did not see that WCIB was WC, lowercase EYE, and uppercase B, because everything is all capped in the overhead banners for every player. So I was trying to think to myself, how in the world do you pronounce Wakayab? I was like, is this... they're Lutheran. This isn't... I was so confused. I was thinking they were speaking Hebrew or something, but no, I'm just a moron. Thank God that there's lowercase letters in the normal names. But I digress. Wilson Central, after that first goal, were able to just propel themselves into a second. And I think most importantly, they just played collective defense. They didn't make too many mistakes, and if they did, there was somebody there to make up for it.
And I do feel like part of it is that the Crusaders offense did feel a little bit, I think, panicky at times, right? Like the shot from Jemiah, right? It's a one-on-one, and they see the ball bouncing, and it's a very kind of soft air shot, kind of a floater right to Propostrophe. So to not kind of panic, I think, is a key here for the Crusaders. They were able to keep themselves alive for the most part. It was that spectacular passing play that Wilson Central got very early in this game that, like you mentioned, gave them the momentum and gave them the edge in this series. But we're seeing that, Lutheran, the Faith Lutheran can compete with a lot of these plays. They can get in front of the ball. It's just a matter of, getting that clean touch and recognizing how strong your opportunity is.
I think the two issues here for Faith Lutheran through game number 1 is keeping consistent offensive pressure and peeling away the layers of Wilson Central's defense like an onion. For instance, Propostrophe almost gets beat there because they were really conditioned for boost rather than the ball itself. They do indeed get boost and are able to clear the ball out. Sean there for a follow-up as well. Little baby disciple, a lack of boost. Ball in the midfield. Propostrophe is there, but is indeed beat. Julian, a follow-up off the corner. Propostrophe should turn around and does so indeed, but Sean will cut them off. A double commit there for Wilson Central. Uncharacteristic there for the blue, and they will be cut away because of it.
Little baby disciple just trying to find space, but only finds Propostrophe. This one gets 50 to the corner, kicks out in a dangerous spot, but Jemiah will be able to clear this one away. Little baby disciple is up here, called off his teammate. Jemiah had no boost either way, and now Wilson Central look to break out. Little baby disciple forces it forward so that WCIB can play this ball up, but Sean and Propostrophe will be able to move this one dangerously close, and they can't find the save. Sean, a slow roller. Defense got a piece of it, but Sean will get the first.
Sean gets the goal forward, and Lil Baby Disciple just barely touching it. Not enough, unfortunately. Wilson Central will open up the scoring again here, and last time that happened, Faith Lutheran did not find a response. They need to be able to keep that consistent offensive pressure. There's a good opening shot, but Sean surprisingly even gets up for it. I thought Propostrophe was going to be up for it. That, my friend, is preposterous.
And Sean now looking for him in transition. Would have been a tight angle, so Sean just pulls off of it and looks to 50. Tried to get the corner boost as well, but will disappear. Julian now trying to move this ball forward. Sean keeping the pressure on. WCIB makes another save. Propostrophe now from the ceiling, sending one towards net. Jemiah has the easy pickup. Julian to dump it right back down in. And again, consistent pressure here from the Wildcats. They just continue to force shot after shot on net. Eventually, the Crusaders get a clear here, but it's quickly kind of stuttering here in the corner. Nowhere really to go with this ball, and Sean has another clear.
Little Baby Disciple, good drop kick out. WCIB there as well. Ball forward. Propostrophe just barely gets a touch on it, but it's enough to corner the ball and get it out of harm's way for Wilson Central, at least for the time being. Propostrophe now off that side wall. Nobody there for a follow-up. Julian has to play Recuperator and does so just to limit the damage done. Wilson Central, uncharacteristic bit of weakness shown, and well, Faith Lutheran are taking advantage of it. Another double commit as well for the same ball, but Faith Lutheran, all that advantage they were taking has now been given away. They now have to gather themselves on the defensive side just the same, just to make sure they stay in this game, because, well, that single goal may very well end up being this game's difference.
Got to find a way to break through if you're Faith Lutheran. Their positioning, though, has been pretty solid overall this game, at least after that kind of opening marker from Wilson Central. But look at the pass play here. It's dangerous. Jemiah cuts it off once more. But I feel like the biggest difference right now, Wilson Central are getting so much power on their shots. It feels like once the Crusaders get an offensive chance, it's a 30, 40 mile per hour shot to come through. Whereas Wilson Central, everything feels like it was shot out of a rifle towards the backboard, towards the net. Even here, Jemiah can't find the touch, and the cleanup will go to Sean. He's got the brace here with 1:24 to go in game number 2, and all off the whiff off the backboard. Jemiah just can't get there in time.
That shot might as well be shot out of an RPG, considering how much damage it may lastingly do to Faith Lutheran in this second game. They say there's no coming back from that, and this second goal, again, feels like one where Wilson Central have really solidified their advantage enough to hold the lead. Propostrophe, looking to make sure that's the case, just barely misses the net. Sean is beat as Jemiah's there. Julian on the back wall will clear it past at least Jemiah and is looking for a follow-up, just gets it to a 50, and that's enough to interrupt Faith Lutheran and allow Wilson Central to regather themselves and turn the ball away at least a second time.
They've got the ball in the blue half, though, and making this defense very awkward for Wilson Central to kind of clear this ball out. Another 50 comes through. Jemiah fakes a touch. Julian is there, poised and ready to play that ball. They get it by 1. Jemiah's turn, not fast enough. Sean beats him, and he's going to beat WCIB as well. Sean with a hat trick, single-handedly putting the Wildcats in firm control of game 2.
What a follow-up touch as well from Sean, making sure they finish what they started. They clear the ball, and they clear the game. 33 seconds, a 3-goal lead. All you mathematicians out there, it's a goal every 11 for Faith Lutheran if they want to stay in this one. And I cannot say I fancy their chances, especially up against such a staunch defense as Wilson Central, because they have not given up much at all, much less a goal, period. Never mind.
They've given up one here. Timing is everything, isn't it, TTL? Huh?
Never mind.
Look at the pass, though. Well done to find WCIB there. And just a fraction of a second late there was the last defender in. But, that could be the spark the Crusaders are looking for here, as time is working against them. But still, to get that one here late in the game, got to feel good if you're Faith Lutheran headed into game 3.
Discipline clears it out, but it won't do all that much. Now, a mathematical impossibility for Faith Lutheran to come back in this one. 2 goals in 0 seconds is not a possibility, and it won't happen. Wilson Central will extend the lead to 2, but, we've seen this before. A 2-goal lead after 2 games. Fairly decisive victories. That was Silas, by the way, for all of you people who've been watching for more than about an hour or so. And if you'll recall that match, it ended 3-2. It went all the way to 5 games. I have a sneaking feeling this one may follow up in that same regard.
It could very well be, but the biggest key for Faith Lutheran is that they've got to find a way to shut down Sean, right? Sean had so many clean touches and was able to find so much space in that second game that they were able to get a hat trick. But it's very, very, it's easier said than done, right? Because Sean is just one man in the rotation. And we've seen Wilson Central, all these players. Julian has had these pop-off moments in the past, right? Propostrophe seemingly always in the right place at the right time, especially since Propostrophe, it feels like they are the aggressor. How many times have we seen them going for bumps and demos on the back line and then still being able to get back to the midfield and keep the ball in the orange half right now? Wilson Central certainly clicking as a unit, but Sean making the most of it.
All forward. This is a dangerous one. Little Baby Disciple knows about it and will clear it away, but only as far as Propostrophe. Off the sidewall. Bump opportunity here for Shaw, and they do miss Jemiah, so a clear again is there. But look at Wilson Central. Every single time the ball is cleared, even to the front third of the field, it's back into this attacking third. They will continue to put on the pressure, continue to corner the ball, and continue to get every single 50 in their favor, not allowing Faith Lutheran an inch of breathing room, much less the full half. What a save from Lil Baby Disciple as well, making sure they're still in this. They won't give up that opening goal, not just yet, as Jemiah holds the line once more.
Huge defensive stand from the Crusaders right now. Sean making things dangerous, but Lil Baby Disciple is there once again. They'll pick up the midfield boost on a dribble, trying to bait out two defenders. They got Sean to go, but he got a piece of the ball. WCIB moving forward. Lil Baby Disciple is there, and they will tack on the first goal of Game 3. 59 seconds into the match, Faith Lutheran have the lead.
In hesitancy of stating the obvious, the team to score first has won in all 2 of our games thus far in this series. Obviously, Wilson Central doing so both times, both scoring first and winning, period. Now, Faith Lutheran looking to continue that streak. Sean, however, what a shot. That'll go out the back wall. Shooting opportunity, but Apostrophe doesn't read it correctly. Julian instead will have to send it off that side wall, and fortuitously gets that side boost. Now has 100 to work with, looking for a follow-up touch, but Jemiah will deny it and keep the ball out for the time being. Wilson Central still facing that 1-goal deficit.
Crusaders looking to clear here, but Sean to dump it right back down in. It's going to kick down to Julian. 50 goes to the corner. Apostrophe.
Uh-oh.
2 players commit here. This is a dangerous spot. Sean on the follow-up, and he'll score dead center of the net, too, to tie things up. And you and I both looked at that double commit and said the same thing. That is not good for Faith Lutheran.
They've made very few mistakes thus far in this series, that unfortunately being maybe the worst of them. However few there may be, that one still cost them a goal, and most importantly, their lead, whatever was left of it. Jemiah will corner the ball and make sure that at least Faith Lutheran's back on the attack, and another mistake, this time courtesy of Wilson Central, but they're still safe. There is somebody there to recuperate their losses, and again, keep the ball out. Julian will only side the ball, but again, Faith Lutheran can't keep this continuous pressure enough to force that many mistakes out of Wilson Central, because they will just continue to deny. Maybe like, I don't know, Jesus. Actually, I think it was Peter, one? But that was okay.
I was not ready for that one, by the way. I don't know if you can tell. Sean trying to move this ball out as Faith Lutheran have maybe got an opportunity. Jemiah trying to beat 2, but Apostrophe gets enough of a piece of that ball as Little Baby Disciple will backtrack now, gets the corner boost, and they will be able to clear this ball away. But really good pacing from both of these teams as we're just past that halfway marker.
Apostrophe now up off that corner, again creating space here for Wilson Central, enough for them to continue this offensive pressure. Little Baby Disciple gets it far forward enough, but not enough to really turn it into offense for Faith Lutheran. Good demo just to interrupt the rotations for Wilson Central. And now off the corner, that's a centering pass. Little Baby Disciple doesn't read it perfectly, but fortunately does not have to. Apostrophe will allow them to regain their corner boost, but still, they don't have full ball control. That goes down off the side wall, but luckily a clear again from WCIB. Wilson Central, but they have somebody back again.
Nearly finding the kind of chip shot there, but it was denied out. WCIB, they're going to eliminate Sean. Julian has to turn now. The 50 goes to Jemiah. The kickback out is dangerous. Apostrophe diving save there on that shooting opportunity, and immediately turns to look for demos here as both teams, you feel like at this point with just over a minute remaining, like that next mistake could cost the game.
Nobody's had a double commit in well over a minute at this point. Jemiah looking for a centering pass will get it, but it goes a little bit too far. No shooting opportunity there for Faith Lutheran. And Sean now looking to turn it into an offensive opportunity for Wilson Central. Will get the dunk straight down. Apostrophe now has a shot at it and will go straight up for it. No flip reset and no air dribble, at least not on net. Sean a little bit too far forward as well. A little bit of a mistake, luckily not punished by Faith Lutheran.
No real, like you said, major or critical mistakes from either side in this last minute. Both kind of testing the waters, seeing what they can do here. A lot of space, though, given to the Wildcats, and that one nearly found its way on target. Little baby disciple is able to clear that one away. Julian will keep it in. Short time remaining here. WCIB, the clear goes right to Apostrophe. Jemiah waits out the challenge there. You saw him kind of flipping, staying in the air, ready to block it. Short time now. WCIB has to turn. Maybe a chance at the net. Near post shot denied. The rebound is saved as well. WCIB and company will clear this ball away, and we are headed to overtime.
This is only game number 3. It's win and finish the series for Wilson Central. It's win and play at least one more for Faith Lutheran. They are fighting for their series life. Wilson Central just trying to fight for the series, period. They're chilling right now. It's really pressure on the Crusaders, who need to hold the line. Their defense has been significantly stronger in the last 3 minutes or so, but that needs to continue to be the case if they want to keep themselves in this series.
So far, Wilson Central certainly feel like they have had the majority of time on attack right now, as they're going to put a dangerous one center, but Jemiah gets the clear.
Uh-oh.
Sean doesn't find the touch here. Jemiah is going to get the bump as well. Jemiah in overtime find a critical goal, and the Crusaders force us to game 4.
He didn't even touch it. That's absurd. He barely touched it at the end. Faith Lutheran will hang on by the hair of their chins. But, as is their right, Wilson Central will call for a server change. I don't know if you're looking on the right side of the ping board, by the way, but Wilson Central, a team from Tennessee, is playing on West Coast servers as of right now. They did lose the coin flip, so Faith Lutheran got to start on West. But because of that, that meant that, well, losing team starts in every single occasion at that point. In this case, Wilson Central have lost their first game of the series. They will choose East Coast servers, and they will really gain the smallest advantage they may need to close out the series.
It'll be a critical one, right? Because it feels like these two teams are very, very close. But Wilson Central, again, if that loss hurts, because it feels like they had the edge. It feels like they're getting the better chances. They're getting higher quantity and quality, especially in terms of, just having the ball in the offensive half for so long, with how panicky at times the Crusaders defense looks. And yet the Crusaders find ways to win. They come up clutch in the dying moments there. And like you said, sometimes all it takes is just one mistake there, no touch coming through on the back line, and it just simply drops in. So one that the Crusaders will gladly take as it extends this series, but it feels like they're going to have to hit that next gear if they're going to push us to game 5.
All right, omniscient soy needs to come out. Does this go to a 5th game?
Ooh. I don't know. You're putting me on the spot like
yes.
this.
Yep. One word, yes or no. Do we see a 5th game?
I would like to see it. I'll put it that way. But
I'll answer
Wilson
it. No.
Central. I'll put it. Yeah. I feel like Wilson Central. You when a team just has so much time on offense, right? It feels like the momentum is tilting in their favor, and yet it feels like sometimes we've seen those odd mistakes from Wilson Central's defense. So we'll see if the Crusaders can kind of pounce on those errors, or if the Wildcats will be the ones to pounce early here.
On clear. Wilson Central, I will remind you, have a significant ping advantage. They're probably playing somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 or 30, whereas Faith Lutheran, even with their opening goal, are still playing with 70 or 80. An own goal will start off game number 4. By the way, the team to score first has consistently won. The question for you, Soy, who scored first? Wilson Central on themselves, or Faith Lutheran on Wilson Central?
The scoreboard reads the Crusaders, so I gotta favor them now. But really an unfortunate spot for Wilson Central, right? No one can read a 50 going that harshly across the post, especially when you're just trying to rotate back to the far post, right? So Jemiah now able to go for an air dribble, and Julian able to block it out. And now the follow-up off the backboard is up high, but it will be cleared away by Julian.
For apostrophe, cherry picking, whether it was for a bump or a redirect, we may never know. They couldn't find either in that case with very limited boost. Sean forward now, ball right to WCIB, who does quickly turn it away, and Julian out 50'd in the midfield. Apostrophe oversends it, but again, a shot from Faith Lutheran goes just too high on the net, will go off the backboard, and is quickly cleared out by Wilson Central, limiting whatever damage could have been done.
Good block there by WCIB, and a demo coming through here. WCIB acting like the fullback here, trying to set up the team, and they get the chance in front. The rebound's going to drop down, but Propostrophe is there. Sean will tee it up. Propostrophe from the sky to drop it down, but it's just barely out of reach for Julian. What a passing play that would have been, as this ball continues to be sent off the ceiling time and time again for the Wildcats.
Imagine that works. The scenes that would have been, and the clips that could have come through. Propostrophe, you could have turned that into a Twitter clip. He may very well do so anyway. The 50 works out finally for Wilson Central. They are out 50'd on the Faith Lutheran side, and it costs them a goal. Not an own goal this time. Wilson Central is technically leading 2-0. Just one against themselves, one against the Crusaders.
I feel like Propostrophe has been a 50 master all day today. They just continue to win challenge after challenge, and they just are going for every challenge they can. And here it works out perfectly, as it gives them the opportunity to tie this game back up. Now Sean with a dangerous shot, little baby disciple able to make that save as we approach that halfway marker here. You can feel the pressure starting to mount for the Crusaders. Their defense is getting tested very frequently now, but maybe little baby disciple can come up with something. Air dribble attempt. Propostrophe gets back in time to make the save.
Just barely, and just over half, or just under now, half the game remaining. Wilson Central looking to turn whatever they can into a lead. Sean is up, looking for a touch. Will find it, but it's immediately met. Again, a 50 in mid-air. Julian's still forward. WCIB, really a dead-even 50 at that point. Sean has to stay back because of it, especially with the Propostrophe demo, who has recuperated their losses, but maybe not enough. Second time's a charm. WCIB will turn Faith Lutheran back into leaders.
Look at this chance here. The 50 and the bump come through, and WCIB wins the race to the ball. And you see Julian is there. Feels like he's got the net covered, but he's just not there fast enough. Great shot. And we were talking about this, right? How the shots from Faith Lutheran early on in the series felt very soft, very savable. Not as much speed behind them, but now they're getting these opportunities. But unfortunately, they're going to give one up in return, though. And Sean tacks on goal number 2.
Did I just see 3 people all miss? No, Jemiah just barely touched the ball and interrupted Julian's attempted touch. That's why that happened. Wilson Central will again tie things up. The problem they will continue to run into, though, is they're just trading from behind. Jemiah, no boost, doesn't get as much on it as they would have liked. Neither can Julian. Propostrophe in the midfield will now put the pressure right back on Faith Lutheran, and Sean up for it will put it back towards Propostrophe, who's looking for a bump. Just can't find it, though. Wilson Central keeping the pressure on, but not turning it into a goal-scoring opportunity at any point on this offensive bit of pressure.
WCIB doesn't find a touch, and so Sean will get the clear here, and it's back to defense for the Crusaders. Sean, short angle shot, ripped away from him. Julian now, air dribble attempt, short boost in the tank, and now little baby disciple will get the clear right to the hood of Propostrophe. And that ball, we'll get it back off the demo. Maybe a follow-up here. They get the 50, but it's wide of the net once more. Sean from the corner, no boost in the tank. Julian to kick this one back out. And the offensive Wilson Central feels again kind of slowed down here, but this is their best chance off the post. The rebound from Sean going to be saved away, and Jemiah trying to clear this one out. Julian to keep it in the midfield, and right as I say, it felt like it had slowed down. They ramp right back up with numerous chances. They don't find the touch here, and that will lead to a clear from little baby disciple.
Nobody's back. Jemiah, this may be the goal that ends it. 32 seconds left, and Wilson Central, a dire mistake, almost certainly now forcing a 5th game. Overcommitment from the third man, and with just 32 seconds, Faith Lutheran are threatening 5.
And the perfect timing from Jemiah. He has to hit that on the bounce. If he waits to catch that ball, Wilson Central catches back up to that play. And now they might have a goal off a kickoff too. The rebound from little baby disciple. Jemiah bit as well. It's an open net for the Wildcats.
What in the world?
And Julian is going to tie this game up with 22 seconds to go.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that's how they tie it up. Faith Lutheran, down to the basics. It costs them a scary sight similar to that of the goal explosion. And now, with just 22 seconds, we're We're down to a tied game once more. Overtime now, more than likely, rather than what we thought was a Faith Lutheran win. There's a centering pass for Apostrophe. Luckily for Faith Lutheran is beat. Julian a ball forward, keeping the pressure on here for Wilson Central. For Apostrophe trying to catch it and turn it into, again, an offensive opportunity. A centering pass, looking for a double tap. It is denied. Just 3 seconds left. A final opportunity now for Wilson Central. Off the back wall. Sean, the shot! But no! Overtime will have to decide a fourth game. Sean's 4 inches of death will cost him as the ball hits the ground. And we go to OT. Almost decided in the first 4 seconds, just the same.
A sigh of relief from the Crusaders to get out of that situation.
Wow.
But they can't rest now. They're still under pressure. Sean chips it, baits 2 defenders, gets over the third, 2 members up, and it's Apostrophe to score. 21 seconds into overtime, and Wilson Central close out the series.
It was a last chance, turns into a first chance there for Wilson Central. The game just dies as well. They broke the server. I don't know. I got nothing for you. Feels bad, man. Just feels bad. You have to feel at that point for Wilson Central. Has the game really just died? Yeah. Hold on, I'm actually going to show you this because this is kind of funny. The game's just dead.
Apostrophe broke the server with that goal. That's
your connection to the game timed out. That's the error message I just got. So Wilson Central say L plus ratio plus the server died and walk away with a series victory. They almost walked away with it in regulation in Game 4, but about a quarter of a second was the difference there. Plus, a 0-second goal and whatever. But that's a wild way to end it. Or correction, a wild way to almost end it. Almost end it again 8 seconds later, and then actually end it another 10 or 15 seconds later.
Absolutely baffling, but it was such a fun series. And again, credit where credit's due. Faith Lutheran put up such a huge effort, just got a little bit too ahead of themselves. I feel like that third goal that they let in to allow the Wildcats back into the game, right? Jemiah and little baby disciple unable to find that touch. Jemiah jumping for joy, and it ends up putting him out of position, and the Wildcats battle back. They find a way to win. And also, huge shout out to Sean, right? Who not only, like you mentioned, nearly won that game in regulation, but also to come back and make the play to set up the overtime winner. He doesn't get the goal, but that assist to bait basically all 3 defenders from Faith Lutheran to set up his 2 teammates for that open net. Fantastic effort by him from this series, and Wilson Central walk away with the W.
Fun information, by the way. Apostrophe and I have been DMing back and forth. We used to be friends back at the spring semester of last year, back when they made that playoff run at EGFH Nationals. I just got a DM. Woo! Our games crashed as soon as we scored that goal. So, it wasn't just me. Everybody's server just absolutely exited stage left. So there's your fun bit of information. Rocket League servers aren't as consistent as we thought. Well, who would have thought? So that's going to do it, however, for us. Wilson Central take it 3-1. Faith Lutheran stay close, especially in games 2, 3, and 4, but just cannot make it stick. Final thoughts on this one before we close it out?
Very enticing game to watch. I mean, these two, again, this was the battle for the number 1 seed in the pool, and now Wilson Central, they feel poised and ready to hold on to that spot, because the schedule for them, they got a couple of the middle of the pack teams still remaining, but the way that the things were panning out, this was the big game that you had to circle on the calendar, and they come out clutch. But I can't wait to see what the Crusaders are able to do later. If they're able to push a team like Wilson Central to the brink like that, I can't wait to see how they do come postseason time.
Well, here in Season 12, Wilson Central pick up where they left off in Season 10 after playoffs with victories, and a whole lot of them. This time only a 3-1. I think they'll be disappointed with that previous finish, considering it wasn't a 3-0, but they'll be okay. They're looking to threaten playoffs once more. Of course, our following weeks will decide whether they do so. Overwatch is tomorrow, but that's going to do it here for us on Rocket League. Thank you ever so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for some Overwatch action.